It's great to be here with all of you today. Thank you, thank you. We're a little bit blinded by the light up here. It's a little bit hard to see all of you, but we're excited that you're out there and looking forward to having a great discussion with our panelists. I am with Accenture Digital, and I focus on the mobility practice related to health and public service. And we have a really great panel. I am joined today by several folks. First, Ken O'Connor, all the way on the left here, is a Senior Director, Infrastructure, Architecture, and Strategy at Quest Diagnostics. I'm going to have him introduce himself first, and then I'll take it through with Rebecca and with Steve in a minute. So
sure, thanks,
take
Lisa.
it away.
Yeah, so in my role, I'm responsible for all the infrastructure strategy within the data center, also at our endpoints, which also includes the mobile space. Quest Diagnostics, we're the largest diagnostic testing and information service provider in the world. We do about 500,000 tests each night, mainly across the United States, but we also have a presence in Ireland, Puerto Rico, Mexico, India, and some other small countries as well. And in that space, we do mainly what we'd call blood testing, pre-employment screening, cancer diagnostics. We have a number of wellness programs that we sell to other organizations to promote wellness and good health and keeping a good, healthy workforce in the environment.
Great. Our next panelist is Rebecca Satin, Director of Information Technology at Mitchell, Silverberg, and Knupp, which is a law firm. Welcome.
Thank you for the lovely pronunciation of the firm name. I work for Mitchell, Silverberg, and Knupp. Our main office is in Los Angeles, and we also have an office in New York and Washington, D.C. Primarily, our clients are entertainment-based, and we have a large intellectual property practice that has expanded into doing things with the gaming industry and things like that. We have about 125 attorneys, and the Los Angeles office is the home office, and I think that
sounds great. And now we have Steve Sturka, who's Director of Mobile and Social Media Technologies at TIAA-CREF. Welcome, Steve.
All right, thank you. I'm with TIAA-CREF. TIAA-CREF provides retirement and financial services to people in the educational higher learning field and other nonprofits. We in turn are also a non-for-profit, which makes us unique. We're one of the 100% of the Fortune 100 financial services companies on Good. My area, I'm 50% dedicated to social media, where I manage our IT platforms for social listening, social content publishing, owned communities, and getting our regulated employees participating in networks like LinkedIn online, and the other half is mobile, where we are attacking mobile from both the enterprise perspective to provide mobile capabilities to all employees and achieve the type of functional and feature parity that you have on your desktops, and also working with our client-facing employees, our financial consultants who are interacting with clients out in the field and looking at opportunities to transform those experiences so that it's more engaging both for the client and dispel the preconception that TIAA-CREF's like a technology dinosaur.
And you're not. We're all here to listen and learn. So thank you all for being on the panel today. That's very exciting, and we're going to hear a lot from our panelists in just a minute. But let me switch the slide. Before we get started, I thought I would share a little bit of research. Accenture conducts an annual survey with CXOs to find out what they're doing in terms of digital and mobility. And I'm going to just, I think I went one too far. Hold on.
Go back.
Going back. Sorry. He told me if I just clicked it once. So one of the first things that we ask folks is, how important is mobility? Is it a priority today? And what we found that was interesting, and this was with 1,400 C-suite executives from around the globe, 77% have mobility as a top 5 priority, and 43% have mobility as a top 2 priority. Another really interesting fact, and this is a big change from previous years, is 87% have some form of formal mobile strategy. It could be at the enterprise level or at the business unit. And we're seeing CEOs actually getting involved in the mobile strategy. It's that important to their business. So 35% of CEOs say they're getting involved in the mobile strategy. Another interesting thing that we're seeing hang on, okay, slow. So what's getting the money? Where's the money moving to from a mobile perspective? Well, 44% said it's opening new sales and marketing channels, which you would imagine would be the case. 43% would say it's driving new revenue streams through transaction-based activities. 39% said it's driving revenue through customer engagement on mobile devices. And then finally, another 39% said improving field customer service delivery. So people are really focusing on driving revenue, engaging their customers, and improving service delivery, which is exciting. I must be hitting the wrong button every single time.
This is the one that's on screen. Yeah.
This is the one that's on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, you can see I'm not very technology adept here. All right, I'm going one more because what I wanted to do, it's not going. Can the person in the back get us the next slide? Thank you. All right, but what's really interesting and surprising is that most folks haven't figured out a way to measure the benefits of mobility. 85% of organizations that we talked to, all of whom said, hey, we have a mobile strategy, we're moving forward with this, they don't have the metrics to measure mobility's effectiveness. So we're going to be talking to the panelists a little bit about what they're doing, looking at soft ROI, hard ROI, and how they're starting to measure mobility and what their journey was like. And just the last one I have before we get going is, we've done some work, and I'm just giving an example here through field force enablement as an example. We do a lot of work helping organizations to mobile enable sales reps or field service agents that are going out. It could be a telco, it could be a utility, et cetera, helping them to mobile enable. And we typically see that by tying in business process improvement with the technology, they can have a really major impact. And so these benchmarks that you see here are real, based on real projects that we've worked on. And you can see that from doing these types of transformations, you can drive one extra good job per day, or anywhere from 10 to 20% improvement in cost reduction activity. So there is a case to be made for mobile driving ROI. You really need to look at the use case and see where it can come from. So what we're going to do next is we're going to talk to our panelists who have been through a journey. I will say it's a journey because we've had some interesting conversations prior to this session and heard some really interesting stories. But before we get into their ROI story, I thought we'd start with, how are you using mobile technology in your businesses? Is it more employee focused? Is it more consumer focused? Can you give us an idea? And we'll just start with you, Ken.
So it's mainly employee focused, but we do have a consumer play as well. So we spoke a good bit about BYOD this morning in terms of our smartphones and things like that. And then probably like any other company, Salesforce, we have the Salesforce as mobile as possible, have them be as productive as possible while out on the road. And we don't want them in the office doing administrative type things, almost like the UPS guy who's going from one door to the next, kind of looking up the next stop. We want our salespeople kind of mapping out those kind of days and things like that when they're out selling. We also another use case in where we've automated what was a paper process for documenting an insurance request form, a request form for a test to validate for insurance. We've made that be electronic, and then when the person leaves the house from doing that type of exam, that requisition is sent off to the lab. It's electronically entered into the system as opposed to manually, so we're getting some savings there from a data entry perspective, as well as minimizing errors in terms of data entry, again, entering in the wrong information. So we have those three use cases for our employees. From an external facing, from a customer perspective, we've had a product for a couple of years called Gazelle. It was a iPhone, Android-based application which people can download their test results that were only really made available to our doctors. Fortunately, that was only available in 20-something states in the U.S., but new legislation has come in the past couple of months. That's now available in all 50 states. We've expanded that service past just a mobile phone app to where you can go to myquest.questdiagnostics.com, register yourself, put in your information in terms of dates you visited a doctor, who ordered that test, and you can download that whole battery of results into your own profile there and be able to carry that with you all around the globe.
That's fantastic. So have you gotten really great response from your customers and your employees from this? Not just the ROI improvement, but
On the BYOD piece, we didn't get the best response because we're kind of taking a little bit of money out of people's hands. So that piece didn't go so well. But in turn, people got to use the devices that they want and wanted to use both consumer and professionally. So mixed reviews there. In the sales space, mainly good feedback. Strangely, you still see a generational gap, in terms of who's really effective with the mobile devices and who has challenges, and it kind of goes with, different age varying ranges. We can guess which ones, but all in all, pretty good there. And then on the mobile examiner one, it's just been a great business benefit all around. Again, just minimizing errors, more optimizing our costs in terms of doing requisition, accessioning, and things like that.
thank you. All right, Rebecca, on the law firm side, why don't you share about how you're using mobile technology with your lawyers and what's going on there with the partners and how they've embraced mobile?
Well, one of the reasons we went in this direction, it was very driven by the attorney's demands. As soon as any new device comes out, they're often waiting in line at the store on the day that it's released, and they immediately want it to work with our system. And so that's sort of what I have had to deal with, and that's one of the reasons why we ended up working with Good, because it allowed us to use whatever device the attorneys wanted to use, as long as they supported it. But they support so many devices. So that was the initial driver. Also, a couple of attorneys had been looking at iAnnotate, and they wanted to be able to use that, and that was another app that was already available. One way that we'd like to extend our capabilities right now, we're currently working with our vendor, our document management system vendor, and the company is, well, the application is called WorldDocs, and I want the attorneys to be able to access all of their documents, but only if they can do it in a secure way. And so this vendor, they already had an app, and we're having them package the app with Good Dynamics so that way we can do it securely. And I actually just got an email before we came in here that they're getting close, so.
That's terrific. That sounds great. All right, Steve, what's going on at TIA-CREF? How are you using mobile technology?
All kinds of exciting things going on at TI-CREF. So the context we framed our internal mobile strategy, which is really where we're using Good. We basically created a framework, a value ladder. So foundationally, it's all based on providing email capability across the entire device spectrum. So that includes our corporate liable devices and our BYOD devices in both the tablet and smartphone form factors. So everyone can sign up for BYOD. We do have a stipend program. So by the end of the year, we should be 100% BYOD. And people will have this broad array of applications available to them that basically satisfies a connectedness type of use case. So not only email, but social collaboration, corporate directory, and the Connect app for instant messaging. And then the next layer is all a tablet-centric, and specifically iOS tablet for the business applications. And so at that level, we're providing capabilities, again, across all employees and all business units to kind of mirror some of the functionality that they have on their desktops today, so that they have the freedom and the opportunity to disconnect and leave it behind, whether you're attending a meeting, a conference room, or at home or whatever. So you have core capabilities for SharePoint access, document editing, printing, note-taking, PDF annotation, a whole range of capabilities in that area. And then the next layer of our value ladder is really getting into the line of business specific applications and the niche opportunities that only cater to a smaller subset of the population. And these would be form filling, CRM access, and custom applications. And so we're doing a lot of custom development that benefits our client-facing lines of business.
Great. Well, you all are doing such exciting things. I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, did they have a mobile strategy? Did they have a mobile center of excellence? how does all this get funded? So I'm kind of curious if you could share your journey with us a little bit. Like, where did you start? Was it, gee, here's a really good idea, let's go after it, let's come up with a big strategy, or how did it get started, and how are you running it now? I mean, is there a business case? Is there this mobile center of excellence? Is there an overarching strategy? So I'll start with you again.
Yeah, sure. So, as getting started, no, we did not have a center of excellence. We did not have a mobile strategy. It was almost pure reactionary. So in the BYD use case, pure reactionary in terms of we need to reduce the amount of money we spend on mobile telecommunication expenses, EVDO cards, Blackberries, all the other smartphones, tablets, things like that. How can we drive that number down? So that's we said, okay, well, how about BYOD? And we drove that against that. Same thing with the mobile examiner use case, where we're really looking to drive down the cost of accessioning, bringing in samples into the lab. How can we speed up that whole turnaround time from our customer to the customer actually getting a result, or the insurance company getting a result? How can we do that? Okay, let's look at mobile, and we went and did that there. And then with the sales force, how can we just make them more effective? And I think, sadly, we were very late to the game there in terms of not going to our sales force and bringing them a mobile solution. We're probably too busy reacting to the other two that we're working on. But again, still very reactionary. So that's been the past couple of years. Probably in October of last year, we did create a mobile center of excellence. A whole team around that. Both of them are sitting here in the audience today.
Wave your arm. Yay.
But it's two people though. Two people for an IT organization of 1,400 people, 40,000 employees. But
they're so efficient on their mobile devices that they only need two additional.
They're the best. They're the absolute best. But
they can work from anywhere, anytime, right? You're working 24 hours a day.
So again, we're kind of being reactionary around that. We closed the panel this morning where I was saying, what could we have done different? I just wish, maybe IT-wise, we could have been smarter and really kind of put a focus around this earlier, a couple of years from now. I mean, we all knew, mobile was coming. I don't know if we knew it would be like this big and this much of an impact on all of our businesses, but we were reactionary for too long. But we had that right center of excellence now. We're being more proactive.
That's great. How about you all? What would you say? Is it reactionary, or do you have a strategy?
Definitely reactionary. I mentioned already that, the day a new device comes out, I'm getting the phone call. I've even gotten the phone call, I'm on my way to the store. As soon as I'm there, I'm getting the device and bringing it back so you can set it up. So,
consider this notice.
Yeah, exactly. So that is...
But are you the mobile center of excellence? Are we looking at the mobile center of excellence right here?
At a law firm, the lawyers don't necessarily distinguish between which member of the IT department actually focuses on what. They just call whoever's name they know, or whoever they run into in the hall. So, but I do have one person who does focus a little bit more on that. But in terms of making the decisions about what we're going to adopt and all of that, we have a technology committee that we try to involve in the decision-making process to help get adoption by the rest of the users. The way that mobile devices came in was definitely driven by the users, but when I became the director, I had some challenges because my predecessor had allowed devices to be set up with ActiveSync. So I think earlier we saw a presentation that had like the first square said, no policy, no strategy, and that used to be us. And it was hard for me to explain why here's this thing that we were doing for you, and you were able to get your email wherever you were, and it was free, and now I want you to be able to get your email, but it's going to cost this much. So I had to justify the expense by talking about the security risks.
And lawyers go for the risk. That's a good argument when you're
Yes.
talking to lawyers.
Risk assessment is definitely the way to get things in the door. But the other thing is it also extends certain other capabilities that were not available with the native ActiveSync. Also, ActiveSync is just different depending on which device. So we were able to sort of use some of the features as selling points, like the free busy information, the fact that our intranet for the firm is accessible through Good. So it was challenging, but essentially we've been able to give them more through the changes that we've made that allow them to better serve the clients. And ultimately, that's what it's all about. And if we need to make it easy for them to serve their clients, no matter where they are or what time of day it is. So.